Good morning, and wherever you are, and whenever you're doing this practice. This practice is going to be a Yin Yoga practice, and it is one of my teachers, Pat, was saying that years ago she went to California and took a class with someone who did a course called LSD, Long, Slow, and Deep, which was kind of the precursor to Yin Yoga. So we're going to be working with our body in poses where we'll hold them, and I'll just invite you just to sit um, on your. I'll move this out a bit here. Just to sit on your just on your heels here. So I'll just invite you to sit on your heels, or if you really want a lovely workout with your toes, you can turn your toes under here and you can sit on your toes. And we'll sit here for 2 or 3 minutes. So whenever your toes it's too much for your toes, you can just come down and you can go back up if you like. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about Yin Yoga and about some of the practices that we can do. Um, I'm going to read at the very beginning just a note about abhyasa, or diligent focus practice. This is from the Chinese Buddhist monk Sheng Yen. Be soft in your practice. Think of the method as a fine silvery stream, not a raging waterfall. Follow the stream. Have faith in its course. It will go on its own way, meandering here, trickling there. It will find the grooves, the cracks, the crevices. Just follow it. Never let it out of your sight. It will take you. So, on that positive note, I'm interested in setting an intention, and the idea of setting an intention is a useful one because it actually you basically won't find yourself doing something unless you intend to do it. You might accidentally stumble upon it, but it's unlikely if it's a demanding practice. So this is from Jack Cornfield. Be mindful of intention. Intention is the seed that creates our future. So when we're sitting in our Yin Yoga practices, um, uh, Bernie Clark, who has been a popularizer of Yin Yoga, um, he says there are three tattvas. A tattva is the reality of a thing, or its category or principal nature. And there are three tattvas for a Yin Yoga practice. One is to come into the yoga practice, the yoga pose, in an appropriate depth. And two is to resolve to be still. And three is to hold the pose for time. So this requires us to think about what it means to play our edge. And I'm going to invite you to come out of that pose that you were in and to move for a moment into child's pose. So, child's pose is just a very simple practice of sitting between your legs. Now, if this is too hard for you, you can put a blanket on top of your feet so that you're raised up and you have your hands back and your head on the ground. And this is a very restful practice, and it allows you to breathe. So one of the other things about Yin Yoga practice is that it is quite a deep practice in that it invites us to be still enough that our breath, we can really feel our breath, our inhalation into the back body, because we have it open, and we are exhaling. And we can even count, if we like, at the very beginning. Eventually our breath will come evenly and naturally, but let's inhale 2, 3, 4, exhale 2, 3, 4, inhale, exhale, Inhale, exhale. And I'm just going to invite you just to stay there, breathing on your own count for a few moments, just to get into the yin groove. So this teacher, Bernie Clark, suggests that the essence of yin is yielding. Yang is about changing the world, and yang would be the active poses that we do in many hatha yoga classes or flow yoga classes. Yang is about changing the world. Yin accepts the world as it is. Neither is better than the other. There are indeed times when it is appropriate and even necessary to change the world. Other times it is best to just allow things to unfold. Part of the yin practice is learning this yielding. There is a prayer with uncertain roots that he says suggests the dance and the balance of yin and yang. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Grant me the courage to change the things I can change. And grant me the wisdom to know the difference. So here we are listening to our body and developing some wisdom. Now, from this practice um, of the child's pose, I want you just to stay there. Widen your knees out and stretch your arms out in front of you, and really feel uh, the your fingers stretching out as well as your arms. And you can just stretch as far as you can in front of you, and feel your torso moving back, the front of you moving forward. And while you're doing that, um, you can widen your feet and see if you can sit down towards the center of your legs, and so that we have a kind of widened um, uh, the the feet are moving towards your parallel. Now, if this is too hard on your knees, you can come up and just sit in a cross-legged posture. But if you can tolerate this, this is the beginning of a frog. This is called tadpole pose, and we could work on the towards the frog in another class. It's a bit more demanding and requires more preparation. But we're going to just stay here for a minute or so, and once again, we're going to breathe into our back bodies and really feel the breath opening up in our back body. And our intention here is to find our edge. That is, there shouldn't be any pain, but discomfort is the way of yin yoga, it seems. So you move towards your edge and what is uncomfortable, and then you move back. So this might be, moving your knees closer in, if that's more comfortable, and sitting back on your heels, and then moving your legs out a bit. Or you might just stay in the original child's pose. Now, the stillness that is part of this doesn't mean you don't move. The stillness is as much a concept as it is a practice, so that we're still, but we find that the longer we remain in the yin practice, the more our body opens. It takes about 90 seconds for our fascia to begin to release, apparently. So as our fascia releases and our muscles release, we'll find ourselves deepening into the pose. So there will be some movement, but the object of it is to find a sense of mental stillness. And that is a kind of emptying out that enables you to make space for whatever comes. And once again, we can just come up, and we'll come up now into just a cat-cow, and we'll do a little bit of movement here. I'm turning my toes under because I like to really stretch my toes in the morning, so as I have arthritic toes. And so I'm just inhaling and arching up with my hands flat on the ground, my knees on the ground, and you can have the fronts of your feet on the ground or your toes. And then I'm going to arch the other way. And I'm just going to do this back and forth, exhaling and inhaling when our chest is open and our collarbone is rising. We're sinking in the middle of our spine. And now we're rising up and we're sinking again into the middle of our spine. And we're rising up again. Here we go. Yeah, good. So we're just feeling the mobility of our spine in the beginning of our class and having a sense of its beauty and its movement that makes our life as active bodies possible. Okay, good. Now you can just imagine we're going to sit now on our sit down on the floor, and we're going to do we're going to put the left knee down on the floor, so in a square in front, and then we're going to put then we're going to lift our right leg up, and we can just hold it. We can actually hold it as though it's a log, and we're going to put this log on the fire, or I would say a baby, but we don't really hold babies like this, but we can just rock our hips back and forth like this. So our bottom leg is on the floor, and was squared. Our foot is flexed. Sorry, I've worn the wrong pants today, so it's hard to see. But our foot is flexed, and we're just going to rock our leg back and forth. And now we're going to set it down on top of the knee. So I have my left leg down and my right leg on top. And this might be a bit hard on your groin or your hips. So you could put a block or something underneath your knee if that's required, if it feels better like that. Or you can just let it go down. Once again, that notion of playing the edge is you don't want pain, but you want to be able to sit in a position. My teacher suggests you sit in like 50% of the pose. So you might start here. And then as we sit for a few moments, you'll feel everything loosening up, and you might want to put the block down here. And by the end of the pose, you might be able to just sit like this. So it is about enabling your body to surprise you in what it can do. All right, so we've been here for a moment or so. I'm going to set it up for 2 more minutes, and see if we can. I can find my timer here. All right, there we go. There. All right. And while we're sitting here, I will read you another passage from Jack Kornfield that I like. And this is allowing us to have some humility, I think, to recognize that our limitations are completely shared by many. So this is Jack Kornfield. He has a good sense of humor. He's a Buddhist monk. If you can sit quietly after difficult news, if in financial downturns you remain perfectly calm. If you can see your neighbors travel to fantastic places without a twinge of jealousy, if you can happily eat whatever is put on your plate, if you can fall asleep after a day of running around without a drink or a pill, if you can always find contentment just where you are, if you can do all of these things, you are probably a dog. I find that really reassuring. Anyway, those of us who love dogs, we understand deeply this. In fact, a friend of mine did my practice the other day, and I read that quotation, and she said it was fantastic. She said, "I am barking like a dog and stretching like a 76-year-old." Anyway, okay, so we're just take our leg. We can lift this top leg up, time's up, and we can just stretch it out carefully. And we can point our foot and roll it around and really feel this liberation of our toes. Okay. And we can put our foot down, stretch out both our legs and just shake them and bend the knees and rest. Okay. Now we're going to do just the other side. I'm going to see if I can turn this over so you can see my legs a bit more easily. Here we go. I'm going to put the other foot down. So this means that we're putting squaring our left leg on the ground, and we are lifting our right leg up and over. So we've got our feet, both of our feet flexed. We can pull our toes back, and we can do that little log rolling stretch if we like. Let's stretch our hips out. There we go. All right, good. And we'll just sit here for a few moments. And once again, we can set an intention. And we can imagine ourselves. I'm going to imagine myself sitting on a sunny deck, a yoga deck. I'm going to imagine myself on a yoga deck somewhere in the Caribbean. And I'm going to smell coconuts. I'm going to smell the sand. And I'm going to feel an opening in my hips. I'm going to imagine my hips are opening because it's warm. There's a breeze. And my other intention is to share love. The world is a very demanding place. And one of the things we've learned about aging is the importance of love and the importance of sociality and connection and community. Okay, now we can just stretch our legs out again, and we can shake them and feel good. All right. Now we're going to work on swan, which is a pose that is known as pigeon in Hatha Yoga. So we're just going to um, move towards the downward dog. And I haven't quite figured out how to gracefully move from one pose to another in Yin Yoga, but so we're going to go back. Let's go back into child's pose just for a second. Stretch our arms out and really then come up onto our toes, turning our toes under. And so we're in tabletop here, and then lift our hips up into downward dog. And we're going to just play around in downward dog for a few moments and feel the hips opening, and the tailbone. The tailbone gets heavy here. The sit bones move up, and the tailbone kind of moves down. This is what I imagine when I'm doing downward dog. And I'm pressing into my hands, using the palms of my hands like a suction cup, feeling my thighs moving up and back so that my my knees are straightening. And I'm not worried so much about my my heels going down as I am really feeling the thighs moving back, feeling the heels moving towards the floor, and loosening your head so that it's just not, there's no strain or stress in your neck, and feeling that your upper arms are are turning out or rotating externally, while your lower arm, and it's an odd thing feeling here, your lower arm is actually rotating internally so that you're really pushing into your hands. Now, if you're getting tired in this pose, just come out of it. I'm just going to just feel some discomfort, but not pain. All right. And we're just going to lift up on our toes again, and we're going to come down into child's pose and come back. And we're going to go back into downward dog in a moment. And then we're going to move towards swan. All right. So I'm really stretching my arms here, and I'm moving my tailbone back. So I feel yoga is often about opposition. So I do feel this opposition. Once again, we're going to do another downward dog. Just stretch we're on our toes, tippy toes, and we're really pressing our toes, our toe mounds into the ground and feeling our heels rise up. And now we're going to press back down towards the ground, press into our hands, feel we can bend our knees and feel our tailbone rise up. And then we can straighten our knees with our tailbone at the same level. Okay, we're pushing in. Now we're going to lift our right leg up, point it towards the back, and we're going to bring it in. And we're just going to bring our knee to our nose, and then we're going to send it out. We're just developing a little yang moment here of strengthening and stretching our toe out and bringing it back in, and then stretching our foot up again. And this time we're going to bring our knee in, and we're going to bring it all the way to the front, and we're going to drop our shin to the floor, and we're going to squidge our our back leg back. And now the object of this, you can, if you like, once again, you can have a block. You can put a block underneath your back your right hip. I've got my right knee forward, and the full pose is with your knee flexed, your foot flexed, and your um, your your leg at a greater angle. But I'm going to point my toe and have it less at a less demanding pose, and I'm just going to put my hands on the ground underneath my shoulders and really feel my chest open here. And you can feel some opening of your, in this case, my right knee's forward. So opening in your front hip of the left. You can feel that opening a little. And you shouldn't feel anything in your lower back at all. We're just going to stay here for a moment. This is called swan. And as you become more proficient at it, you'll go lower. So here, I've been sitting here for a moment, so I'm going to remove the block. And I could put a blanket there, or I could see how I'm doing, easing towards the floor. I might have to scoot my back leg back a little bit more. And we're really trying to open the chest, and the collarbone should be rising towards the ceiling, and our neck should be relaxed. Good. Now, good. And I'm just going to move into a space where I have more room. So we're in swan here. And I'm just got my, now I'm going to invite you just to lower down. Now this might be too hard for you, so in which case you can use a block for your head. I just want you to lower down just so that your arms are in kind of sphinx mode. And this is a kind of midway point. If you like, you can go all the way down to sleeping swan, and you can use your hands as a pillow. And we'll just rest here. Now, as I said before, if it's too much, you can in fact put blocks underneath your head. You might be up here. You can find ways to make this a posture that is not completely horrifyingly uncomfortable. Because as I said, the edge is about moving from, say, 50% of what you can do, say here, my hand, arms, and sphinx, and my head on a block, to here, say this is 75%, and to like 100% of what you can do. So you can come all the way down, maybe into sleeping swan. We're staying here for 3 minutes. So I'm going to make sure that we don't over. And while you're in this pose, you can remember to breathe, and you can come out at any time. You don't. Once again, it's not. My first teacher, Swami, was no pain, no gain, and that's really not our objective. But discomfort is okay, because Yin Yoga is a practice. It's not restorative yoga. It's not intended to just be total relaxation. All right, now you can come up. That might be all that you feel like doing. And we've done quite a lot on that side. So we're going to uh, work back we're going to work back, and we'll come back and sit back on our behind, and we'll do the square again, just because it's another movement of the hips. And we will put, I'll start with the left foot under, and then the right foot on top. And I'll just sit here for a moment, feeling that opening. All right. And I'm going to do the other leg just for a moment. I'm just breathing easily. And Jack Kornfield reminds us to let go of the battle, breathe quietly, and let it be. Let your body relax and your heart soften. Open to whatever you experience without fighting. Now, this is wise advice and difficult to follow. Let go of the battle. Breathe quietly and let it be. Let your body relax and your heart soften. Open to whatever you experience without fighting. Now I'm just going to drop my leg down in front of the other. So I'm gonna have my left foot. Uh, I bring my left foot in, and then I bring my right foot just in front. So I've just got simple cross legs. It's not as uncomfortable as the square. So we're going to sit here for a moment and just have a short meditation. So I want you to be very comfortable. And you can put your hands on your knees. You can raise your uh, palms up and put your fingers in a mudra. This is supposed to have special properties in yoga. And I want us just to close our eyes and feel our breath coming in our nostril, cool, and exhaling through our nose, the warmth of our body. And we're inhaling and we're exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. I'm going to be silent for a moment or so, and you can just continue to breathe here. Okay, you can come out of that. And we're going to ease our way into saddle. Now, I really have a hard time doing this. So it's sort of the beginning of camel, really. So we're going to just sit on our heels here, and we're going to move back. Sit on your heels, and we are going to move back. And then you can sit on your feet. And we're just going to move back and put our hands behind us. The full posture is we're going to lie back completely and so that we're on our backs. I can't do that, but you may be able to, so go for it. I'm going to just put my hands out behind me so that I'm opening my shoulders and I'm stretching the front of my thighs. And I'm just going to stay here for a moment. Now, if this is excruciating, of course, come out of it. But it may be that it just allows you to open up. And once again, the fascia begins to open up after 90 seconds. So we'll stay at least longer than 90 seconds. I'll set my timer for 2 minutes again and see how that feels. You might have to sit on cushions. And you might find that you can just drop your head back and really open your chest and feel the opening in your shoulders as well. And you can, in fact, go down further if you feel like it. You could do this against the wall and lean into the wall so that, and then move your legs further out from the wall to move down. So it's just it's a challenging pose for me. I have a bad knee, so I really have to be careful. But I was at one point much better at this than I am now. And if there's too much discomfort, just come up and take a child's pose. All right, now you can come forward and just fold over your knees and put your hands underneath your forehead. And you can have fists for your hands and just rest your forehead on your fists. And we're just going to, this is a little bit of a counterbalance to that. And now we're going to just move our legs back. We're going to sit up on our knees, move our legs back, and we're going to just go into a small back bend here. We're going to go into Sphinx for a moment. So we're just stretching our feet back and our elbows are underneath our shoulders. Our hands are stretched out and we are feeling a lovely back bend, and we can point our toes behind us so that we have a sense of this as a lovely small back bend, like a low cobra kind of a Sphinx. And we'll just be here in this pose for 2 minutes. So here, if you want more extension, you can turn your hands out and you can straighten your elbows and you can move into what's called seal so that you're up further. Now, this might be too much, but you can keep your elbows basically locked and you can press your pubic bone into the ground, towards the ground, into the ground. And you can put a blanket or something underneath your pubic bone and you can feel a larger stretch here. Now, if you want to stay here, you can, or you can come out of it. So this is all of these poses have many alternatives. And I'm just moving back now into child's pose. And I'm moving my spine around a little and my shoulders. I'm just giving myself a little loosening here. We've had a lot of stress and strain on our shoulders. And now I'm going to come back up. I'm going to do a couple of cat and cows again, just to once again feel the mobility of my spine. We've been doing a lot of work on our hips, and I'm moving my rib cage to the side and down, and then to one side, and then up. I'm circling my rib cage around, and then I'm moving it the other way, just to move it in all directions. Good. Now, we're nearing the latter part of the class, so we're going to come back onto our back, and I don't want to run over. So we're just going to move under our back and lift our right leg up and cross it over our left. And then we're going to, we can lengthen our arms to the ground with our palms up. We're going to lift our hips up and we're going to move them towards the left and drop our knees to the right. And if that's too much, you can simply drop your knees to the left. You don't have to cross your legs over. And I'm extending my arms straight out from my shoulders. And both my shoulders are on the ground. And I'm looking in the opposite direction from my knees. So this is a lovely supine twist. It allows gravity to do some of the work. And I'm going to think about my intention today is to extend compassion to others and to remember that it's difficult to extend compassion to others if you don't feel compassion for yourself. Developing compassion and kindness is a Tonglen practice in Buddhism, and it includes instruction in self-compassion. All right, we can lift our knees up, shift our hips towards the center, put both of our feet on the floor. We can draw our knees into our chest and rotate slightly and put our feet on the ground. And now we're going to lift our left leg up, cross it over our right knee, shift our hips towards the left and drop the knees to the right. Once again, both of our shoulders are on the ground and we are looking towards the opposite shoulder. And you can, if you want to, you can put your right hand on your left thigh and add a little bit of weight if you want to increase the twist, but there shouldn't be any pain. It should simply be a posture that allows you to open into your twist. And we're breathing easily here. At this point in the class, our breath should have slowed and we should feel a sense of elongation and a sense of expansion in our breath. And we'll bring our legs back and our spine back to sacrum on the floor, feet on the floor. We can raise our hips up and do happy baby. So our arms are moving between our knees and we're grasping the outer edge of our feet and raising the soles of our feet to the ceiling. And this is a yin yoga pose we can hold for just a moment here. And you can feel your knees moving closer, your thighs moving closer to your body. And you can move back and forth if you like. Massage your spine and feel the power of this very modest posture. I think this is a great posture for the end of a class. It allows you to massage your spine, to open your hips. And it gives you, because you're holding onto your feet, it affords some resistance. Okay, now we're just going to, once again, put our feet on the floor, stretch our legs out. Now you may feel that you want a block or something underneath your sacrum, or you might want a bolster or a cushion underneath your thighs. You can keep your knees raised if you like, or you can stretch your legs out, or you could be by the wall and you could have your legs straight up the wall if you like. You can lie on your side or you can sit up in a meditation position. Your relaxation is yours alone. You can figure out what your body needs. And I'm going to go back to the original quote about disciplined and focused practice and how it is a meandering brook. How we shouldn't be too upset if our practice fails us one day. We should just go back to that brook and follow it as it meanders through our life, working with an intention to practice. In fact, Bernie Clark says that while hatha yoga, you should take breaks between hatha yoga classes and take a day off because you can injure yourself if you don't take a day off. It's a bit like one of my friends is a wrestler. He always tells me how important it is to take a day off. Bernie Clark recommends doing yin yoga every day because it's just about opening your body up and the fascia, and you shouldn't be doing it to the point of pain. So the way the stresses by the muscles on the bone, excuse me, the strain actually helps develop the bone. The way Yin Yoga works. So in our older age, especially, it's probably a very good thing for us to do Yin Yoga every day. So you can have a Hatha Yoga practice, but do Yin every day. Don't do Hatha Yoga every day. And I'm just breathing here quietly, feeling the clouds of my thoughts drift by, a clear blue sky, imagining my body riding the waves of an ocean, my mind letting those cloud thoughts go as they drift by, and my breath opening my body, And in your own time, you can stretch your feet out and your toes and your fingers and your arms. You can stretch your arms overhead and you can stretch them out. And you might want to stay there all day, or you can roll to one side and in your own time press into your hands and push yourself up to a sitting position. So we'll just end this with a note about intention again. Be mindful of intention. Intention is a seed that creates our future. And if your compassion does not include yourself, it is incomplete. With those two thoughts, I will devote the merit of our practice to the well-being and healing of you and all of us and all of the living beings. Thank you for joining me. The student in me salutes and bows to the student in you, and the teacher in me bows to the teacher in you.